Hi there, Lyric Services. Trisha Warner here with your weekly Pilates work. Today we're going to focus on healing through movement. This is going to be a mostly beginner program that's going to focus on more core stability, less spine mobility. So this is going to be for everyone, but for advanced movers, this may seem a little bit more like going back to the fundamentals, which is always a good thing. So I think it's going to be appropriate for everyone. You are going to break a sweat with this one. We're going to work very consciously and mindfully to activate our spine stabilizers, to focus on less mobility through the lumbar spine. Sometimes we feel tightness in our low back because we need to find movement above and below our low back, not so much moving within the area itself. So just a little bit of a different approach. This is not for somebody who's in acute pain, but this is for someone who's not really feeling up to exercising. Like, oh, you know what? I'm a little sore. There's no big pathology, but my neck is tight and sore. My back feels, like it's on the fritz. But not for somebody who has pain. If you have pain, go see the doctor for sure. Get permission before you do any kind of therapeutic exercise. So this is the importance of finding and achieving stability before mobility. So the only spine mobility we're going to do today is rotation, which is typically in most cases, the safest. You're just going to need a couple things today: a ball or a block, not both. And it's only for one exercise, so if you don't have it, no big deal. I'm going to use the ball, I think, and then your long TheraBand we're going to use for some leg stretching. So because we're focusing on neutral spine today, I thought we should start on finding your neutral spine, because everyone's neutral spine is a little bit different. We're going to start on our backs. So find yourself on your mat with your knees bent, your feet are flat, your shoulders are nice and relaxed, and your neck is relaxed in just a soft position here. And then we're gonna try to think about a sense of spine elongation here. So I want you to think about maybe like I just lifted my rib cage and kind of pulled it away from my pelvis. Maybe you do that a little bit. Think about how you could gently facilitate a longer spine. So maybe your tailbone's kind of reaching down between your feet, or maybe the top of your head is being gently pulled up on a little bit of a force away from your body here. Once you find that lengthened position and your shoulders are relaxed, we're going to take the pelvis into a little tilt here. So, and little is the key word. I don't want you doing anything big or huge. If you have a super healthy spine, then go ahead and go for it. But if you've ever had any symptoms, just go easy, nice and easy. You're going to inhale, rock your pelvis forward. As you inhale, you're creating a space in your low back. You don't have to reach through like that. I'm just showing you that I'm creating that space in my low back. And then as you exhale, you're just going to keep the length while you gently lose some of that space. And maybe you're coming all the way down, but it's not hard or fast. But you're going to inhale, rock the pelvis forward. Your tailbone drops down. Your pelvis is rolling forward. You're creating that arch in the low back. And then exhale, bring it back down. Again, we're not compressing. We're not imprinting. We're just rocking here. Nice and easy with the breath. Inhale and exhale. So this is a very nice centering warm-up exercise. It's a perfect one to start your practice. It's a good way to mindfully connect with your body while also coordinating the breath. So a lot of Pilates principles going on here. We've got the axial elongation. We've got the pelvic tilt for alignment. We have breath control. And we're working on a precision motion here. Let's do 2 more. I'm giving you a little time to get some hydration into these lumbar discs as well by coming into a gentle rocking motion. It gives the opportunity those discs to plump up and get thicker and more padding for our daily activities. So now that you went back and forth, do 1 more and notice how far you're going in each direction with ease. And then you're going to pause in the middle. So you're not arched and you're not pressed. you're halfway between those two ranges that you just did. So if you're not sure, go again. This way, that feels like my middle. So see if you can find your middle. There should still be a very small space in your low back. It's gonna vary in size depending on your body type. So, some people just have a flat back. Some people have a lot of tissue in their rear end area, which makes that space a little bigger. So, depends on the body type. So I'm gonna leave it up to you to try to figure out where your middle is. That's your neutral spine, okay? And we're gonna hold that neutral spine now with a little bit of stiffness. So I want you to kind of lock in that position so that we're using those spine stabilizers as we move into our bridge. Keeping the length, keeping this position of the pelvis. Inhale here. Exhale, press into your feet. Transfer the weight off your pelvis and your back and come into your bridge. Now make sure you're not popping your rib cage. Stay connected through the front as well. And then come back down. You're just hinging. We're not rolling. That's a different type of bridge. We're not doing that one today. We're hinging. We want to find some stiffness now in that neutral spine area. Inhale. Exhale, press into your feet. Press and lift the hips up. Keep the rib cage connected to the pelvis here. And then inhale down. Good. We've got 5 more. Press and lift. Now try to find a little ease with it. And down. And lift. And down. Good, 3 more. So yes, we're activating the glutes and the hamstrings as well. So important after sitting for your job. Last one here. We're opening up the hip flexors, activating the glutes. 2 exercises that are worth their weight in gold in terms of reversing the negative impacts of sitting. All right, we're coming into our dead bugs now. So you're gonna need your prop, whether it's a ball, a yoga block, a pillow, whatever. Still working in neutral spine. You're gonna float one leg into tabletop, keep that neutral spine. Float the other leg into tabletop, keep that neutral spine. Take your left hand on the ball and put the ball on your left knee or yoga block, whatever, it works. One's a little more isometric than the other, but I don't think it will change the exercise that much. So keeping that neutral spine and that length in the low back, you're gonna put a little pressure with your left hand and your left knee into this ball. So smush it a little. And then your right hand and your right leg is gonna be up in this position here. We're gonna inhale, reach the right arm and right leg away from the center of your body. Exhale, bring it back in. The left is isometrically smushing that prop there. Inhale, reach. Exhale, come back. Now you're only gonna move this arm and leg as far as you can without moving your back at all. So that's where I want your attention, on your low back. Is it moving? Inhale, reach. Exhale, come back. If it is, don't move the arm and leg so much. Keep it in here. You have to find stillness in the low back for this exercise. And I'd like you to not press it into the floor to find it. I want you to work neutral spine because that's where you need to be strong when you're sitting at your desk. We've got 3 more. Come on. 1, if you're fatigued, just stop. 2, listen to your body always. And 3, pause here. Switch the prop over to the other leg. Press it with the right hand now. Left arm and leg are up and free. Inhale, reach them away. Exhale, bring it back. And you may find one side is easier than the other. This side, it's easier for me to hold that neutral spine. And that is where my mind is concentrating. I don't really care where my arm and leg go. I want that low back to be so still. It is like there's a pressure gauge in your low back that's measuring the slightest change in millimeters of mercury. Just find that stillness there. I do that sometimes. I put a blood pressure cuff under people's backs and check it. Last one. I think we did one extra, but that's okay. Pause here, bring one foot down, and then the other foot down. Nice job. You can put the prop off to the side. I don't think we're gonna need that again, if my plan is correct and I don't go rogue. All right, let's bring your hands behind your head. And I want you to take the skin or the hair on the back of your head here. And I want you to stay down, but I'm gonna sit up just to show you. I want you to find the sensation like you're pulling this hair up, like you're gonna make a ponytail right on the top of your head. You're kind of creating a little traction in the leg. So you're taking those hands to the occiput, the back of the skull here, and we're just doing a little bit, keep the shoulders down. We're pulling that skin and a little bit of that hair up to the top of our head. And hold that little bit of traction there. It's just a fascial release. It's gonna help you relax the connective tissue in the neck area. So keep it long. We're gonna add a little flexion of the upper spine. I don't want you doing a sit-up here. I don't want you flexing your low back. All we're gonna do is a little chest lift. And it's keeping it small. So your low back may come down a little bit towards the floor. That's okay. But we're certainly not pulling the belly button in and pressing our low back into the mat. We're not doing that. So we're trying to hold the low back space just a little bit. And you're gonna exhale, lift the light weight of that head up and down. We're just gliding the rib cage down. And I'm thinking more about mobilizing the upper spine into flexion than I am about engaging my abdominals. That'll happen when you lift the weight of your head and shoulders. The abdominals have to work. But I want you to think about keeping length in the spine and finding ease in the motion. 2 more. And last one. Perfect. Pause here. Keep your band handy. Grab one knee, pull it into your chest, and stretch the other leg out. Good. So you're pulling that knee into your body. And the way I put my head down, I'm still feeling a nice little gentle pull. So you can try that. If you keep that little bit of traction and then set your head down, it's like, oh, my neck feels longer. That feels good. So holding that knee close to your chest, and we're just gonna circle the ankle around here. We're just gonna move the foot around the ankle, and we're gonna move every joint here. We're gonna now switch and go the other direction. We're gonna move everything that gets tight from sitting. And maybe more. Pause here. You're gonna grab your band, lasso it around the middle of your foot. You can sit up and do that if that's a little tricky. You can hold on to the ends, and we're gonna straighten that leg up to the ceiling. All right, now if this is a hard exercise, if you know your hamstrings are tight, go ahead and bend that opposite leg a little. That's just gonna free up a little extra motion and make it a little easier for you. But if you have the hamstring leg, go ahead and stretch it out to make it a little more challenging. Keep that leg nice and straight, and then you're gonna pull down on the band, activating the back of the leg, and then let the band help you float it up and find that length and stretch down the back of the leg. This is a wonderful way to floss the nerves of the lower extremity. So yes, we are getting that, that sciatic pathway. So I should also say, if you're experiencing any numbness, tingling, or pain with this is not the right exercise for you. We want to gently floss our nerves. We don't want to cause adverse neural tension. So if you are feeling that, bend the other knee, bend this knee, and keep it really small, right in here. So feeling stretch down the back of the leg is appropriate. Feeling numbness, tingling, pain, not appropriate. So work at your level. If it feels good, go ahead and stretch that leg all the way out. We've got one more after this. And then maybe you'll see as you go, it frees up a little bit. Pause here. We're gonna open our leg out to the side. Find that straddle stretch, that inner thigh pull. We're not just going down to the floor, we're also going towards the top of our mat. So you wanna get that diagonal up here. Then bring it up to the ceiling, and then allow your leg to float across your body. Keeping it as straight as you can, you're gonna feel that stretch down the outside of that leg, IT band area. Whoo, do I need this one today? Good. I'm glad I put this in my program for myself. In your program for myself. That's what I meant to say. Come across, find that IT band stretch. Whew. I rode a horse for the first time since I was a child this weekend. So I found some muscle groups that, got a little tight, but actually surprisingly not sore. When I was getting off, the woman rancher said, do this stretch, do that stretch, you're gonna be so sore. And because, I wasn't used to it, I'm like, the next day I jumped out of bed, I'm like, thank you, Pilates. I felt, really just fine, but maybe a little on this IT band now that I'm here. Pause here in the middle. We're gonna take the band off your foot, but you're gonna hold it there. If it's too hard to hold it here, if this hip flexor is screaming at you, bend your knee, take a break, or don't do it. But, or you can use your hands, to help you hold it up. And then we're just gonna point and flex the foot. Look at those toes. Appreciate the motion you have in your ankle and your foot as you pump this blood flow back to our heart. Get an assistance from your vascular system. Go ahead and pump the foot. Look at those toes, move them. Say thank you for carrying me around all day. And a little gratitude goes a long way. Bend the knee, put the foot down. Let's switch to the other side. Bend that knee up. Bring it in towards your chest. Hold it nice and close, and we're gonna circle the ankle around. So move that foot in a nice little circle here. Moving these joints in the directions they don't usually go, right? And did we switch? Switch, if we didn't switch. And pause here. And now we're gonna take that band, wrap it around the bottom of your foot, holding onto the ends. Go ahead and straighten it up. And same thing like we did on the other side. If you need to bend that opposite knee, go ahead and do so. You're gonna pull that leg as straight as you feel comfortable going down to the floor, up to the ceiling. So you're going down and up. Now, what's the position of your low back here? Are we losing that neutral spine? Are you compressing your spine into the mat? If you are, try to find that little space. So I want you to take it into the hamstring. I don't want you to flex your spine. You'll feel the difference. If you try to keep that little space as you come up, you'll feel it more in the back of the thigh. It's a very fine line. So see if you can find it. Last one. Hold it up. Open your leg out to the side. Find the stretch. Good. Lift the leg back up and then gently float it across and find that outer leg stretch. Good. We're going to just windshield wiper back and forth here, nice and easy. Good. Breathe. Enjoy this hip opener here. I think one more should do it. I'm getting so much further now. I hope you are too. Good. Pause at the top. Let's take our foot off the band. You can use your hands to assist and hold. If you have the strength, don't. Flex and point the foot. Look at it. Examine those toes. If one is lagging behind, put your attention onto it. Say, come on, join the rest of the team here. Point and flex. Moving them all the way through that lovely range of motion. 2 more. And last one. Good. Bend that knee, put it back down. All right, you can put your band off to the side for a moment. You're coming back into hook line here. So knees bent, feet flat. You're gonna float one leg into tabletop. Find your neutral spine. Do you have it? And then bring the other leg up. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of oblique work in neutral. Head stays down so we're not straining our neck at all. You're going to initiate the motion by lifting one hip. So let's lift the right hip off the floor. You'll feel your knees float to the left. And then to return, we're not going far with this, just till you feel the work. Now pull that hip back down, not with your hand, of course, but with your muscles, pull it back down to return to center. Now go ahead and initiate by lifting the left hip to rotate over to the right. And then coming back to center. So if you feel engagement with that, stay there. If you want more work, you can extend the legs out, lift the hip, or kind of tick-tocking over here, and then pull it back, and then lift the other hip to go to the other side. So your feet or knees stay level the whole time. But by extending the legs, you're increasing the lever load Not necessary, but a nice challenge. Work at your level, and let's do a few more here. So like I said before, we would be doing rotation today. A little tiny bit of flexion, extension, and lateral flexion, but really minimal motion in those directions. Just enough. One more each side. Last one. Then I'm going to give you a rotation stretch. So come to center, put one foot down and then the other foot down. That's easier on your back to come in and out of exercises. Separate your feet really wide on the mat. Let's take our hands behind our head and do that little gentle traction again for the neck. All right, you can relax your elbows down on the floor if that's not uncomfortable, keeping the shoulder blades glued to the mat. You're going to initiate the motion by gently tipping your knees over to one side of the mat, finding a nice stretch through the hips here. Breathe in. Exhale, bring the knees back up and go over to the other side. So nothing above my belly button is moving. My shoulder blades are glued to the mat. I'm only going over as far with my knees as I can without straining, feeling pain, overstretch, or lifting my shoulder blades. So we're really isolating hip rotation and a little spine rotation. Good. Let's do a little bit more. Feels good, doesn't it? I love this one for you guys. Last one each side. So good. And last one. And bring your knees back up. Bring them together. Arms down by your side. Just arc them up overhead. Leading with your thumbs. Bring your thumbs down to the floor just to get a full shoulder range of motion. And then you're going to keep your arms up overhead as you roll onto your side. All right, so your arm is extended overhead here, and your ear is resting on your arm like a pillow. If this is uncomfortable for you, go ahead and bend your arm. That's going to give you a little bit more assistance in stabilizing this position. So this is the more advanced option. This makes it a little easier. If you still don't feel like your head is supported, grab a towel and put that. I want you to feel like your nose is in line with your sternum, your breastbone here, which is in line with your pubic bone, okay? So we're in a straight line. I don't want you to feel like your head is hanging, okay? So go where you need to go. Everybody's proportions are a little different, so try to figure out where yours are. Your eyes should be looking straight ahead once you see what I'm doing. But this is hard to balance here, so I'm not gonna lie, it is. Find your stability here, and then you're gonna take the top leg and lift it off. But remember what I said we were focusing on. Stability and spine neutral, right? So we're in neutral spine right now. I'm finding a little lift right through my waist here to support my low back, and I'm lifting and lowering. And I'm trembling a little because my core is working really hard to stabilize me in this position with my arm out straight. I'll tremble a lot less like this. So see where you want to work. Last one here. And pause. Good. Now we're going to get the top arm involved. You're going to go front with the arm as the leg goes back. You're going to inhale the leg front, arm back. Exhale, leg back, arm front. It's not a big range of motion with the leg. I want you to focus much more on keeping the rest of your body still. So the leg going forward and back is really just to challenge your balance, okay? Woo, and is it? We've got two more. And come back down. Bend your knees, bend your bottom arm under your head. We're coming into a book opening stretch. So your hips and knees are gonna stay stable on the mat. Your arms are kind of behind your head like this, like you're wrapping your arms around your head. You're gonna inhale with a nice long straight spine. As you exhale, you're gonna initiate the motion by starting to turn and open your chest up to the ceiling. Opening and reaching that shoulder blade towards the floor without straining. Find the stretch and inhale. Exhale, come all the way back. And again, nice long spine. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, turn and open. Just nice and easy. The motion will come if you're consistent. If you force it, your body will push back and you won't get there as quickly. So just go nice and easy. And coming back, perfect. One last stretch here to open up the front of our hip. Reach up, see if you can grab your foot with your top hand. And if you can, you want to think about pushing your hip forward while you hold your foot, opening up the front of the thigh and hip. If you can't reach, you're just going to straighten both legs out and actively bend your knee. So a little kind of a butt kick here, but you're not actually reaching your rear end with your heel, but that's the direction it's going, or you're doing the passive stretch. And pushing that hip forward without arching the back. I'm not arching my back, I'm pushing my hips forward, okay? And then come on out of that, let's switch to the other side. Same thing, set yourself up for success here. So bottom arm is straight for the challenge, bent if you need it, okay? Top arm is on your hip. We're lifting and lowering. Oh, it's already so much easier on this side for me. You may find that too. 4, 5, 6. Maybe riding that horse through my center of gravity off here. 2 more. And last one. Pause here. Float the leg off the bottom leg. Our top arm is floating here. We're going to inhale as the leg goes forward, arm goes back. Exhale as the leg goes back, arm goes forward. So it's a little reciprocal walking motion. And your spine is perfectly still. So it's a very safe core exercise, a way to work the stabilizers in a good, safe position. And one more. Very good. Bring your feet down and together. Bend your knees. Bring your hands behind your head. Pause here and focus on a nice long spine. Inhale. As you exhale, turn and open your chest and shoulders to the ceiling. Find that stretch. Breathe in. Exhale, close. Come on back. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, turn and open. Stretch. Enjoy that movement. Let gravity help you without pushing. And come down. A lot of these stretches is just using the assistance of gravity or putting you in a gravity eliminated position to allow you to get into it, which is what we're going to do with this quad stretch next. So if you want to do the stretch, you're going to reach back, grab your foot, and then push your pelvis forward to find the stretch through the front of the body. If that's not feasible, legs straight, and then you're actively bending the knee. Okay, we're gonna do a little bit of this on our stomach coming up very soon. All right, let's flip over onto all fours. So, your hands are under your shoulders. Your toes are tucked under. I want you to get a little stretch in the bottom of your feet. Hands right under your shoulders. You're gonna keep your elbows straight. And you're gonna lower your chest towards the floor without bending your elbows. It's a little tricky. And yes, I'm still in neutral spine. So you're just in your natural position here. And you're gonna lower your chest to the floor without bending your elbows. And then push your chest away from the floor without changing your elbow position either. So it's a lower. The shoulder blades are doing this. They're wrapping around your rib cage and coming together. And then they're pushing away from each other. It's a retraction and a protraction of the shoulder blades. You're gonna wanna bend your elbows. I'm gonna ask you to try to minimize it to as much as possible because I want you to move from your shoulder blades, not your elbows. 2 more. Last one. Pause here. Now you get to bend your elbows and we're gonna work our triceps. So you're gonna come down onto all fours. Palms facing the floor. You're gonna lean forward. The further you lean forward, the more work it is for those triceps. So you decide where you wanna be. If it starts getting too hard, just lean back. But the further you lean forward, go ahead and go for this one a little bit. You're gonna lift and lower the elbows. I say go for this one. It's a very safe area to work the triceps. It's a big muscle, it can handle it. And it doesn't get a lot of use, so I want you to strengthen it. It's also very easy if by 6 right here you're feeling fatigued, just lean back a little and make the last 3 easy. Last one. Very good. Pause here. Walk your hands back underneath you. And we're going to come into a little bit of an inner thigh stretch here. So you're going to bring one leg out to the side. Rest your foot on the inside arch of your foot, and you're just going to lean back and forth a little. That's all it is. Just back and forth. Last one. And then put that leg down, switch to the other side, and back and forth. Good, do 2 more. I'm gonna check my time, make sure oh my goodness, that went so fast, everybody. All right, so we're gonna come onto our elbows. I'm gonna wrap it up, don't worry. You're gonna come onto your elbows, and you're gonna keep your lowest rib cage on the mat and your pelvis heavy on the mat. So you're just arching from the upper back a little bit, that's all. And just in this position, you're gonna bend and straighten your knees, just a little bit. Good, keep your pubic bone heavy. We're just arching our upper back just a little bit, not the low back, just the upper spine. So we're isolating thoracic extension. Pause here. Now lower your chest almost all the way to the floor, almost. And then bring your palms down close to your body, palms facing the floor. And we're doing little pulses here. With the arms beating up and down. Good, and you're keeping your shoulders lifted away from the floor, just activating the back of the shoulder girdle a little. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and done. Hands go under your chest, push yourself up. We're gonna come into standing, and we're gonna finish with a little bit of chest expansion. So holding onto the band close to your body. Standing with your feet hip width apart, we're pulling straight back and here. So again, working the back of that upper shoulder. 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. You can throw the band down. Reach your right arm up overhead. Keep your weight even on both feet. Reach your right arm so close to the ceiling that you start to tip a little bit away from it. But we're not, I repeat, not coming into a side bend stretch. I want you to find length through the side body without moving into lateral flexion. And come down. Same thing on the other side. Reach the arm up and lengthen just a little, ever so slightly. Good, and come down. Roll those shoulders up and back. Good, let that tension kind of leave your shoulders after the work that you did. And great job. I'll come back next week with a little bit more of an intermediate movement practice for you, and then maybe we'll get into some more advanced from there. So hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Bye-bye.